everybody. Welcome to Facebook Ads for Beginners 4-week training program, week number 4 of 4. So it's been a long couple weeks, but I hope you guys have picked up quite a bit. First things first, I should probably start this. Sorry about that. Just want to make sure that you can hear me. So just type a 1 in there. Cool. Danny, good stuff. Lisa, welcome back. Good. I'm trying it on a different monitor this time to make sure that we don't get that flicker that we had before. So hopefully this works. So good. Welcome everybody. Let us dive right in here. So the goal for today is talking about how to sell physical products on Facebook without losing money. And there is a way to do this, and it works very well. We've covered quite a bit already, but let's dive right in. So if you stay till the end of this one, I'm going to offer something special for you, just to keep you interested. Anyway, after doing this since 2005 online, I learned quite a bit. These are 3 things I learned, but I could basically spend a whole webinar just talking about what I learned. So first, systems are vital to success. You can't make anything work without having a system in place. And the reason that we do kind of trial and error type things is so we're trying to develop our own system so that we can make it a repeatable process, and we can just, attack any niche we want, any business we want, anything we want. If we apply our system to it, it should work. Number 2, doubt is the real enemy. That's the main reason why people fail. I've coached a lot of people one-on-one and in group format and on my free group, and a lot of them just have this doubt creeping in that just punishes them. It just stops them, freezes them from succeeding. So I call it the real enemy for sure. And number 3, what I've learned is seeking successful people is key. So even me, I don't know everything. I don't pretend to. But, oh yeah, I remembered to hit the record button too, Steve. I do seek out successful people that are ahead of me because I want to be at their level, and then I want to get beyond and seek out people that are beyond their level. And I want to make sure that I connect with them so that anything I learn from them, even if it's just mindset things, that helps me and that'll help you too. So seeking out successful people is key. So I discovered all this the hard way, but you get to cheat. So you get it the easy way because you're on this webinar right now. So if you want the easy way that avoids costly mistakes, give me a yes sir in the chat box real quick, and then we will move right along here. People are still coming in too. That's awesome. And I actually made the mistake of scheduling a webinar during the time when I was supposed to pick up my kids from school, so that's bad. But I scheduled these about 5 weeks ago and just realized today that it's the second day of school, and they're walking home today. So, oh well. Okay, lots of yeses. Scott, Rudy, Danny, Ernie, Lisa, Steve, Tim. Awesome. Thank you. So let's move along. Kanye also approves. So that's one thing too. You might see in the beginning of this webinar, there's probably going to be a couple memes. So if you're not a meme fan, I apologize. There's none near the end. But Kanye does approve, and with his approval, we can proceed. So today, just like always, we're going to cover 3 main things we want to cover. Number 1, the exact system. I'm going to show it to you. Okay, we're going to show the exact system that I use. The feedback that I got from the other webinars was I went into too much detail, and I really put head spin on people. They were asking me a ton of questions that were very technical, and I realized that I kind of did that to myself. So I'm going to pull that back a bit on this webinar. I am going to show you the system, but we're not going to go into my Facebook ad account today because that's just too much to cover. I need way more webinars to cover the technical side of this. So this webinar is not going to be quite as technical as the other ones, just based on feedback that I got from you guys, okay? Number 2, doubt is the real enemy. So it's the second thing that we're going to cover. And number 3, seeking successful people is key. So if you have questions, as always, type them in the chat box, and I will answer along the way or at the end. Okay, so feel free, if we're covering a section and you have a question and you really want to know, just type it in there and we will definitely cover it. So number 1, let's dive right into the exact system. So I'm about to show you, this is a system that I've perfected over the years for selling physical products, and Those of you that already have my course, you probably know this system, but it's always good to review it because sometimes it puts you in the right frame of mind going forward, especially right now when we're coming into the fourth quarter of the year. A lot of guys like me make 60, 70% of our income during the next like 4 months. So this is a perfect time to be getting involved and learning an awesome system for selling physical products. So there's more to it than just Facebook ads, but Facebook ads are the key that put eyeballs on your products. So first off, step number one of the system is research. We kind of covered this a bit, but I have to reiterate it because you have to find products that you want to test, and you can do that on Google, Facebook, Pinterest, Spy Tools, and I want you all to be creating an idea folder. And in that folder, you basically take screenshots of everything you find and you put it into your idea folder. I break mine down by niche so that I basically have 3 core niches right now, but I'm always testing new ones. I encourage you to have 3 core niches as well. So I go to Google, I go to Facebook, I go to Pinterest, I start searching for the broad keywords, and then I'll start taking little screenshots and I'll save them in my folder, and then I have a good, I call it like my idea kind of folder or database. So then when I'm stuck for what to test next, I can go there and I can get some ideas from my research. Research is key. You can outsource this too if you really want. I have in the past. I guess it's just how much time and effort you want to put into it. I do suggest you learn the system on your own first before you outsource it, because you have to be able to explain it very clearly and concisely to the person that you're hiring. Okay, so first off, you want to be doing research. Second is the design. Now, these are all very important, but you want to be able to create a design ideally on your own, but if you can't, you can always outsource it. So there's programs, paid programs like Photoshop that I use every day, and there's also GIMP, which is like kind of a clone of Photoshop that you can use. You can also outsource to places like Upwork or Fiverr. So Upwork is more if you want to hire somebody on a part-time basis or full-time basis to do your designs for you. Fiverr is like a one-off deal where the person will create a design dirt cheap. I do find that on Fiverr they tend to disappear. So if you find a good one there, please hang on to them because we don't want to lose them, and they do tend to disappear, which kind of sucks. So create your design for testing, and I found that graphic design is my passion. I put that one up there because throughout my travels, throughout my coaching, I get a lot of people that are saying, you know, they'll buy a course of mine or whatever, or we'll be doing one-on-one coaching. And I always find that with these people, they know the system, they know how to do Facebook ads, they know how to go through the process, but their designs are just, sometimes I can't even read them, or just the wording is so bizarre that it doesn't make sense to me. So design is important, but I think simple ones are really, really good. And sometimes even ugly ones will work better as long as they make sense and you can read them. So I just saw a couple this week that I had to actually tilt my head and try and read it because it just didn't make sense to me. So you have to have kind of a little bit of an eye for this, and you develop this with experience based on your past sales, but it's hard. It's not easy. The beauty of design is if you don't know anything about Photoshop, GIMP, or you're not really that creative, YouTube, in this case, is your best friend because you can go there and you can find a million tutorials on how to do designs in Photoshop, GIMP, or whatever you want to do, both of them. So that's how I learned Photoshop. I went to YouTube and I said, okay, I want to do, say, a circular design. So I went to Photoshop, I typed in how to put text in a circle, and then I learned. And it was very easy because I had my YouTube tutorial on one screen, my Photoshop application on the other, and that's all I did. And that's how I learned it. And then after you do it a couple hundred times, it gets really, really easy. So you also need to have these skills so that you can be resizing images and making them fit for your ads as well. Because once you launch it, sometimes the ad size that you get from the product platform, like Gearbubble, for example, which I use quite a bit, one of my favorites by far, you have to be able to resize it. So design is key, definitely key. Not the most important thing, but it is pretty darn important. I would say out of all the steps, this one is the most important. That's why I put I love testing, because when you test something, you're going to see right away what your market, what your audience thinks of it. So this is where we go back to, people ask me all the time, what do you think of this design? What do you think of this design? What do you think of this design? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a cat. I'm not a cat lover. It's not in, I don't mind cats, but I'm not a cat lover. I'm not passionate about it. So if you're showing me a cat design, I have no clue. You have to show that to somebody who is a cat lover that you're trying to sell it to. That's the only way to know if something works or not. So when you see in Facebook groups too, a lot of people will post stuff on, have a look at my funnel, or have a look at my webpage, or have a look at my product. What do you think of it, guys? And then 50 different people chime in with 50 different opinions, and none of them matter because they're not, well, unless they're in the target market, none of them matter. But people love to offer their opinion, but the truth is, it doesn't matter. So the only one that does matter is your audience, and you find that opinion from your testing. So you have to be testing your designs. So you get a design, launch it on GearBubble as an example. That's my favorite. That's why I keep putting it up there. And try to sell it. If you get a sale, go to the next step. Now here's some numbers for you, because I know people love numbers and they love black and white. Approximately 28% of your tests will be worth going to the next step. Okay, that means a full 72% are not going to make it. And for whatever reason, the sun, the moon, the earth were not in alignment properly that particular hour of the day that you launched the campaign, so Facebook didn't like it. Whatever the reason be, your design could be a little bit off. It could be anything. The key is we got to pump through a lot of designs through the top of our own system funnel. Okay, if you don't do testing, you're going to fail pretty quick. All right, so question coming in, how many designs a day do you test? I'm still at about 2 or 3 a day. Okay, when there was one point I was doing 150 a month when I was first starting out, because I was trying to find my niches. I hadn't had them yet. Now that I have my core niches that I work in, I can slow down my testing a little bit. But if I want to go to the next level, the first thing I would do is start increasing the number of tests that I do. It's awesome because testing, not only does it provide you with feedback from your audience and sales, ideally, but mentally, it puts you in the right frame of mind that you're taking action, you're doing work, the results will come when you do the work. If you skip this, if you go, man, I don't want to test, I just want to go right to the launch phase, you're going to spin your wheels so hard and so long, it's going to be awful. So just a follow-up question, how do you keep up with finding the designs? That's my research phase. That's whenever I have, like, if I'm bored online, I'll go and start looking at shirts and hoodies and necklaces and whatever it may be. Okay, canvas prints now too are huge, by the way. I'll start researching that. Take my screenshots, build up my database of ideas for that niche. So I always have some stuff in the pipeline that I'm keeping going. If you're more, if you're smarter than me, you'll outsource the research part, okay? And if you have the money too. But you always have the research and the design and the testing is stuff that you can outsource, but I do recommend you do it on your own first. And it is fine. There's really unlimited ideas that you can go for. And you can take an idea from one niche and usually you can apply it to your own. For example, the beer niche. If you're finding funny beer t-shirts and you're in the cat niche, well, you can take those same sayings, switch out the word beer for cat, and now you've got a cat saying. So you don't have to stick to cat research, right? You get what I'm saying? Cool. All right. So, and again, keep that in mind too. So about 3 out of 10 of your tests are going to be worth going to the next level, always. So when you know that, it's a little bit easier to have a test fail because you think, okay, that didn't work, but no problem. No problem. I know if I keep doing this, my numbers are going to, the law of averages is going to kick in, and I'm going to get to 3 out of 10. Okay. Now, launching. This is really where we're talking about getting eyeballs on our product so that they possibly buy it. So brace yourselves, the web traffic is coming. This is talking about Facebook ads launching. So we already launched the thing on GearBubble in this case. So now we have to launch it on Facebook ads. I say if you're new, start small. Okay, you can do little $5 per day ads, and times 5 ads, that's like $25 per day total budget. I call that a beginner campaign. So do your beginner campaign. You can always start with more if you want, and you'll develop your own kind of preference that way. There's beginner, intermediate, and advanced campaigns that you can do. If you're new to the niche and kind of, money's a little bit short right now, then you start small and you build it up. You reinvest your profits back into your business, and then the next time you launch one, maybe you launch it at $20 per day or $25 a day times 5 ads. So 100 to 150 per day you're spending. And then maybe you know the niche very well. So the next successful test that you launch with Facebook ads, you go up to like 500 per day right away, or 1,000, or 2,500, or 5,000. So, I mean, I don't run $5,000 ads every day, but when I find a winner, I sure do pump it to get there, because I want to make, you basically have to make hay while the sun shines with anything, especially with online stuff, because as soon as you launch that, your competitors are seeing your ads too, unfortunately, and there's some very unscrupulous ones, that's hard for me to say, that will copy you. So you don't want to have that. Well, I mean, you're going to have that. You want to just make sure that you get as many sales as possible before your stuff gets out there and it starts getting copied by the copycat crowd. So launching is vital. You have to do it because you have to get, this is where you spend money to make money in the launch phase. Okay, you can't skip it. Once you have a good, successful test, launch it. Now, step number 5 in the system is managing. Okay, now I thought that was funny because nothing ever goes exactly as planned, but with the system, it kind of does. Okay, you can't just set it and forget it though. You have to be managing your ads. Okay, and you also have to manage your business because there's a question like how do you keep up with that many designs? Well, I do a lot of research, so I'm managing my research time, my design time, my testing time, my launching time, my managing time, and the next phase as well. Here's the key to this though. You want to pause any ad that is not producing. Producing means profiting. So let's say you have, I like necklaces. Let's say you have a necklace and you price it at $27.95. And it costs you $7.95 as your base cost. So you have to pay that to get the thing made. So your profit on that before ads is like 20 bucks. That means on ads, your break-even number is $20. So you can spend up to $20 on that particular necklace to see if it's going to work. But I'm not talking about in the campaign. I'm talking about per ad, okay? If you spend $20 per ad, no sales, pause the ad. It's simple. That's your startup. That's how you manage it. That way you're not throwing good money after bad, meaning you're not going to let the thing go to $40, $50, $100 spent without a sale. You want to cut them quick. You always want to cut them quick. If you launch 5 ads at a time, usually 1 or 2 are going to be keepers long term. 1 might break even or flounder, and 2 will be duds, guaranteed. And there's no rhyme or reason for it. That's just experience speaking, okay? You have to understand not every ad works, okay? When you launch an ad, it basically Facebook picks a bucket of people out of your entire audience that they're going to show that ad to, and they're going to base your future on the performance of that initial bucket. So that's why we have to launch we have to hit lots of buckets of people with lots of different ads. Okay, so knowing that, then it's easier to pause it, and you don't have to be afraid to pause the losers. The beauty of it is when you pause a loser, you can always replace it with another ad. So at any given time when you're starting out, you start with 5 and you pause 3. Well, now you've got to replace those 3 with new ones. So now you've still got 5 running, but 2 of them are probably producing actual results for you, and 3 of them are being tested initially. So it's a constant management of that. I manage my stuff kind of first thing in the morning. I go in there and I look at my campaigns and I look at lifetime stats, and then I'll also look at like 7-day stats to make sure that it's not a fluke. But lifetime stats are the key factor, because over say a month or 2 or 3, if it's still maintaining a positive ROI, then it's good to go. So I'm going to keep it. And that's part of management. And management doesn't just cover the ads. It covers everything. Research, design, testing, launching, managing, and scaling. Okay? So leading to this, you got any more of them sales? That's what we all want, right? We got something that's working. We did our research, design, testing, launching, managed it. Now the thing's working. I want more sales. That's all scaling means. It means getting more sales. There's two basic ways to do it, and I threw in a third, but number one, create more ads. So you can create more ads straight up by going with different interests, different audiences, different placements, different countries, whatever you want to do to create more ads, you can do that. Or you can do duplicates of your existing ads. I know it's hit or miss sometimes with duplicates, so you can take an ad that's working, don't touch it, just do a duplicate of it, and then make some small tweaks on the duplicate to see if that works. You can also increase the budget on winning ads if you want to. And now there's some questions coming in, which is good because there's a lot of debate about, oh, can I do a duplicate of a winning ad or should I just increase the budget? What's the best way? And I'll tell you right now, the best way is whatever works for you. There's no right answer. This is, you know, advertising is art and science. This is the art side. This is experience. So some niches, duplicates work because the audiences are big enough where there's not going to be overlap concerns on Facebook's end. Other niches are really small and you can't do duplicates because you're going to be hitting that same audience and competing with yourself every time. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. There's just the way that works best. Okay? Now we got a question coming in. When you say run 5 ads per day, are you talking about the same ad with 5 different target audiences or 5 different products? Okay, yeah, 5 different target audiences. That's what I'm talking about initially when you launch one. So it's 5 ads. Each ad has a different target audience, same product, okay, and actually same post. So you want to run all your ads to the same post as well so that you get to build up that social proof. No problem, Patty. Good question. All right, so once you pick your way, and you need to test this in your niche, creating more ads by duplicating or just creating different targeting, then or increasing the budget on the winners, you'll see which one's working best for you. Then you can look at expanding geographically too and adding more countries. So a lot of people think that the US is the only possible way you can make money online, which is pure baloney. There are some niches where I don't even target the US at all, and I can tell you the competition is a lot lower just because there's not as many people in other countries. It's awesome. So don't be afraid to expand. I'm Canadian, so do you think I target other Canadians? Absolutely, because we buy stuff online. I know that. I also know there's other countries, some I can't even pronounce, where I make sales. And it's crazy, but it works. So add more countries always. Then you want to be creating custom audiences. And this is where, say you have a video, and then you want to create a custom audience of people who watched, say, 75% of that video. Well, that's perfect, because now you can run ads to that new audience that you just created, called a custom audience. Then you can take it a step further and say, okay, well, say only like 5,000 people watched my video at 75% of it, and that's great. I want to show those 5,000 people an ad, but I want to expand. I want to scale. I'm going to create a lookalike based on that custom audience so that the lookalike is like 2 million people or 2.1 or 1.6, but Facebook's going to go out and create that for me. So we cover that a little bit in the local business stuff, but it applies to physical products as well. But here's the real thing. When you're scaling, say you start with a little campaign and you're spending 25 bucks and you're making 50 in revenue, so you're pocketing 25 bucks. So your ROI is your profit divided by your expense, so it's $25 profit divided by $25 expense, which is 100% ROI, okay? That's great. So you think, man, I want to scale this. I want to get this really going. Well, I got news for you. Your cost per purchase, your ROI, your cost per purchase is going to go up and your ROI is going to go down. But your overall profits are going to go up. Okay, so ROI is not the only measure that we look at. Overall profits are good too. So it goes back to, would you rather spend $25 and make $25, or would you rather spend $1,000 and make $500 or make $250? See, so the ROI is lower, but the profit's higher. So you got to keep that in mind. You're never going to keep it the same when you're spending at low levels as when you're spending at high levels. So when you know that going in ahead of time, it's going to benefit you quite a bit. So when you're scaling, the more you spend, the more you can get back. Okay, think of it as putting money in to get more money out. That's what you're trying to do. Now, does a system, Sound like a good thing. I actually spelled that wrong. I apologize. Sound like, I do that all the time. I don't know why. Does it sound like a good thing? Give me a yes in the chat box if you think a system is a good idea and you should be developing your own as soon as you're done this webinar. Absolutely. Right on. Cool, cool, cool. Good, good, good. Everybody is on board for a system. Absolutely. Okay, so let's move along just real quick here. So we're coming up at, oh my God, it's almost half an hour in. Wow. Okay, so number 2, doubt is the real enemy. I'm going to blow through this part real quick because we talked about mindset, but I had something I wanted to add here. But just based on my experience with some guys I'm coaching one-on-one, I'm seeing a lot of patterns. And I just want to share with you so that you don't get into these patterns, okay? So let's dive right in here. Quitting 2 feet from the finish line. So that's doubt creeping in. So you've been working, say you've been working for 3 weeks and you've been researching, designing, testing, and you're not getting anything. Like nothing seems to be working. So what do you want to do? You want to quit. So burn this image in your head. You've probably seen this before. This is you starting out up top. You know, you're going for the diamonds here. And then, oh my God, a couple more swings and this dude was rich with all these diamonds, but he quit. I've seen this bottom one more times than I care to. It's very frustrating for me because people come so far and they do so well and they have such a great attitude. And then because they don't see results right away, doubt kicks in and they quit. Instead of going, okay, if I'm not seeing any success, what is going on? So you need to examine your system and you need to go through every stage of it. You say, is my research off? Is my design off? Is my test off? Usually it's one of those 3. And I'll tell you more times than not, it's the design that's off. It's just not working. So if you're spending a lot of time on your products and you're doing your own designs and none of them are working, like you're not getting any sales and a couple of weeks go by, it's time to hire a designer, honestly. You just have to bite the bullet and say, you know what, I tried doing my own designs. Clearly I'm not very good at it because nobody's really buying my stuff. I got to outsource this. So fork over $5 per design to a guy at Fiverr or $10 even for a really good one. That's what you have to do. Don't be the guy on the bottom. Okay, I've seen too many guys come and go and it's very frustrating to me because I know they're so close. They're 1 or 2 tweaks away from hitting all those diamonds. So I apologize for the kind of pixely nature of this, but here it is. Thomas Edison, good quote, just went to Google and found it, but many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. So remember, I think it was this guy, Thomas Edison, he invented the light bulb, right? And I think his other quote was, he tried like 10,000 different times and he failed. And he said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I learned 10,000 ways to not make a light bulb. So I'm like, you know what? He did. He really did because he kept trying and trying and trying and failing and failing and failing. Imagine if he gave up trying to invent the light bulb. Where would we be? I'm sure somebody else would have come along and did it, but I mean, when he did it before anybody else, right? So we all benefit from that every day in our lives. So imagine that dude quit. Where would we all be? So now imagine you're cooking along, you're all pumped up, you're ready to go. You'd go at it for a week or 2 or 3, you don't see any results, and then you quit. Well, now where are you? Well, you're right back to where you started. You're nowhere. So all that time, energy, money you put into it is down the toilet. Don't be that person. Don't quit just because you're not having success. Just say, you know what, I failed this way, I failed this way, I failed this way, I failed this way. Now I know all these ways not to do it. So I'm going to try another way. So I'm going to tweak something in my process to make it work. I want you guys to remember that because I see it way, way, way too often. So don't quit. That's my key. Like, it's got to be inside you, but don't quit. I swear anybody who tries this stuff, selling physical products online, can do it. The only reason they don't is because they quit. Don't be that person. Now, this all relates to our, number 2, our negative belief system. So, well, what the heck is that? This is it. Negative beliefs are embedded in us, basically from childhood. So if you ever had a parent who, you said, hey, I want to be an astronaut. And they're like, nope, you can't do that. That's crazy. You'll need to do this, this, and this, and that's too much work, and there's no way in hell you'll ever get there, and blah, blah, blah. What that just did was embed a negative belief in that child. So that child now thinks they are limited in what they can do in life. So I have 5 daughters. I'm very aware of this because when I was little, I was told a lot of stuff I couldn't do, a lot of stuff I would never amount to. And I said, for me, I took it as a challenge to basically say, F you, I'm going to prove you wrong, and I use that for my motivation. But I make sure I don't do that to my kids. I've got kids that want to be a doctor, I've got a lawyer, I've got everybody. They want to be all these big things. And I say, you know what, you can do that and whatever else you want to do. You're going to make it because you're special and you're awesome. And there is no limit to what you can do in life. And I've been saying that from the moment they were born. So now all my kids don't have this negative belief system in them because I made sure they didn't. So if you ever find yourself thinking, well, I can't do that, well, I shouldn't do that, it's impossible, then your negative belief system, which is ingrained in you, is working in that stuff between your ears, and it's telling you no. So it's difficult to change it once it's in there, but it can be changed. And it's just a matter of instead of looking at something and saying, I can't, I can. Instead of I shouldn't, no, I should. Instead of it's impossible, it's possible. It's practice, repetitiveness. You have to think of how long you've had a negative belief in you, and then think of how long it'll take you to change it. So a couple questions coming in. Oh, going back. Do you have your systems written or just in your head? Yeah, I totally have them written. I write down all my systems, and I actually have stuff I sell, of course, with my system. Of course, get it, a course. But yes, I do have all my systems written down. Question coming in. It's really hard when your family doesn't believe you can make money online. Absolutely it's hard because doubt, negative belief system, and negative people too. That's another one. I should have added that right in there. People it's weird because sometimes people don't want you to succeed just because it makes them feel better. So if you're a dreamer, I'm a dreamer. I've been told I'm a dreamer all the time. I look at big picture stuff, but I'm not really big on the details, which is odd because I have all these systems in place. But I'd rather just do the big picture if I could. And I get told by a lot of people all the time that, well, you can't do that. That's no way you're ever going to make that. No, you can't. How do you do that online? That's not possible. And, when I first started making money online, I'll tell you a story. I'm glad you brought this up, Steve. Thank you. My first wife, who I had 4 kids with, and then I blew it because I got ridiculous with my work and got addicted to work, basically, and lost my marriage. But that's a whole other story. That's not the point. Point is, we're sitting in our townhouse. I had a daughter who was, I think, a year and a half. And then, was she a year and a half? 2000, yeah. No, 2 daughters, 1 on the way. And so my 3rd daughter was on the way. We're sitting there at dinner one night in the townhouse, sitting around the table. I was working at the time at TD Ameritrade. I was working doing stock and option trades for people who had an online account but apparently didn't know how to use a computer, so they call in and I put the order through for them. It was very menial work, but I took it so that I could figure out this online thing. I took the night shift, and I was doing my lead generation stuff online during the day, and then I go to work on the night shift at night, and because basically the stock market's closed at like 4 or 4:30, I can't remember what it is, but people don't really call to do orders at night. I took maybe 6 or 7 calls in an 8-hour shift, so I had a lot of free time, and I was doing really well, and I was starting to do my lead generation from work, and I was starting to make really good money, and I was actually exceeding my income from my full-time job with my side job. So then I remember we were having spaghetti meatballs, and I'm sitting there eating my meatball, and I'm like, okay, I got to tell her. I got to tell my wife something. I got to tell, I know she's seen me making money online, but she still doubts it, and she, like, nobody we knew had ever done it. And this was back in 2005 or 2007. 2007. This was a long time ago. This is way, like, 10 years ago. My God. Anyway, I'm sitting there eating my meatball. I'm thinking, okay, I got to tell her. I just got to blurt it out. So I said, honey, I have to quit my job so I can make money. And she looked at me like I was from Mars, because who says that? I have to quit my job to make money. But I did, because that's what I had to do. I was making more on my side job online than I was at my full-time job being a phone monkey, taking orders for stocks, bonds, and options. So she looked at me like I was nuts, and she didn't say yes right away. Of course, I had to, we finished dinner, and she said, we'll talk about this after. And so we did. And then what I did is I actually showed her a couple checks that I had from Commission Junction at the time, and one of them was quite large. And she said, all right, let's do it. What the hell? So even all the doubters in your life, I take doubters as motivation. When somebody tells me, you can't climb that mountain, I'm going to climb that mountain just to prove them wrong. If somebody tells me, if you have credit card debt and somebody says, hey, you're never going to pay that off, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, watch this, and I'll do it. That I use the negativity as my own internal fuel for motivating me to move forward. And I use it as something that gets me through the slow times, or gets me through the times when I'm having doubt. I'm like, well, my mom always used to say, I don't think you're going to do much with your life, so you might as well just go get a job at, like, wherever, some factory, and go put cars together and, work on an assembly line or something. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to prove you wrong. And I use that as motivation. So it comes from within. What people think you can do or think you can't do doesn't matter. It's what you think you can do or what you can't do. That's all that matters. So change your mindset. If people are doubting you, saying you're never going to make money online, I want you to visualize that point where you go, oh yeah, and you show them. Use that, okay? So thank you for tossing that in there, Steve. It is very hard when your family doesn't believe you. Take it, fuel your fire with that. Spin it to a positive. So reason number 3, doubt is the real enemy. This is huge. Okay, paralysis by over-analysis. I've seen this so many times. I see it daily. I basically see it daily. So here it is, overanalyzing or overthinking a situation so that a decision or action is never taken. That I found that online. I thought that was perfect. There are so many guys and women out there and everybody who wants to do this stuff, but then they start asking questions, and they go, well, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, what if this, then what do I do? If I hit this point, what do I do? Well, I don't know where to start. Is this the perfect one? No, you got to take imperfect action in this business. It's way better than taking none, okay? But analysis paralysis means you're trying to study everything, and you're trying to get the perfect solution to an imperfect problem. So you're overanalyzing. The ones that I find are the worst, and I apologize if there's any on this webinar, are engineers. Like, you guys are awesome. You're smart as a whip, but when it comes to the art side of marketing, forget it. Because engineers deal in absolutes. And that's not what marketing is. Marketing is a complete opposite. It's so flying by the seat of your pants, going with your gut instinct a lot of the time. That's crazy, right? And they can't stand the unknown. So if you go into a group and you start, I see the guys even in my group, they start asking questions, and I used to respond with, you know what, that doesn't apply to you yet, so don't worry about it. But I found that they don't go away. That just makes them ask more questions. So now I start answering them. And then I will send them a private message saying, I see that you're asking a lot of questions. That's awesome. But what have you done so far? And the response is 99% of the time, oh, I haven't started yet. I'm just getting ready. And I'm like, facepalm. Like, my God, dude, do something. Don't ask, no more questions, do something. Because you have to take imperfect action in this business, and stop overanalyzing every little thing. They go on a Facebook group and they see a screenshot by somebody doing massive numbers, and they post like questions, and then they go, okay, well, that's what he's doing, so that's what I have to do. But what about this? 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 You can what if yourself to death. Don't be that person. Okay? If you're taking some kind of action, you're going to get closer than taking none. And if you're just asking questions without the intention of ever taking action, don't do this business. It's not for you. Okay? So I see a lot of guys that are saying, That's me. I've done that. I know. It's not that you're a bad person. That's how a lot of people are built. That's their personality. They want to make sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted before they even dive in. Whereas that's not going to get you very far. And I know it's hard. It's very hard. And I appreciate how difficult it can be to just kind of dive in without even knowing how deep the water is. But sometimes you just got to take that leap. It's like a leap of faith. And it's more of, I'm going to get in there, get my hands dirty. Let's see how it goes. Instead of, well, if I go in there and I know my hands are going to get dirty, so I'm going to get latex gloves, but I got to figure out what kind to get. And I got to figure out how long they'll last and blah, blah, blah. So that when I end of the day, I can peel off the latex gloves and then my hands are perfectly clean. And then, but what kind of soap am I going to get? I'm like, oh my God, I'm the opposite of overanalyzing. I'm probably an underanalyzer because I don't think of every what if. I'm more reactive than proactive. And I think that helps me a lot in my business. Anyway, if you can recognize it, that's the first step, but don't be that guy, okay? Because you're just going to spin your wheels for a long, long, long time. And that's no good, okay? So I already said, but any of these sound familiar? A lot of guys in the chat are already saying, yep, that's me. I do that. Totally do that. You're not alone. That can be conquered, okay? A lot of stuff that we talked about can be conquered. It's just a matter of reset. Like, what do you think when we talk about doubt and getting down and negative beliefs and over analysis and everything, how do you think you reset your mind? You go on a vacation. You take some time away. You walk away for a bit. And you reset, you recharge your batteries. You go do something you love doing. If you're a golfer, go golfing. If you, like, for me, I go lift weights. I love doing that. That's my reset. I do that 3 times a week. And if I don't do it, I can feel myself getting tense. So the way that I conquer all my self-doubt and my negative beliefs and my trying to overanalyze things is I just go and I turn my brain off for a while. And I just beat the tar out of some weights by lifting them and dropping them. I'm not a dropper, but I hate those guys that drop them. But yeah, ouch for the engineering mindset for sure, for sure, for sure. So, number 3, we're moving right along, about 45 minutes in, right on pace here. I'm glad you guys stuck with me. Thank you very much. I do have something at the end here, and there's, this is the final one, wow. But anyway, number 3 is seeking successful people is key. And here, this is going to be short and sweet, okay? And I've just got one thing. Answer this question, please, in the chat. Why do professional athletes have coaches? Well, I always like to use Tiger Woods, but why does Tiger Woods have a swing coach? He's not the best now, but he had a lot of problems and mental issues. But why did he have a swing coach? Number 1 golfer in the world. Has a guy showing him how to swing the golf club? Why? LeBron James, best basketball player on the planet. Overall, I'd say. Steph Curry is pretty good, and Kevin Durant. But why does LeBron James have a coach? Like, doesn't he know more about basketball? I honestly believe he knows a lot more about basketball than Tyronn Lue, but I think Tyronn Lue's just a puppet on the Cavaliers. Anyway, that's a whole different story. He does have coaches. Why did Michael Jordan have coaches? Greatest basketball player of all time. Phil Jackson was his coach. Why? Why? Why do baseball teams have coaches? Those guys are awesome. They know they can. There's no way a coach could out-hit them, outrun them, out-catch them. Why do football players have coaches? You're telling me a football coach can go on the line and block like 400-pound defensive tackle coming at them? No way. You're telling me an NFL coach can out-throw like Brett Favre? No. But why are they there? Why do people have them? So let's see what you guys say. Yeah, there you go. Mental support. Yes, Joe. Joe, absolutely. Let's see. Kickboxing is great. Yeah, it is for resetting. Perfection, absolutely. Guidance, right? Mental support. To tell them what they can improve on. You're right, because they're watching. The coach watches, observes, and says, hey, I noticed you're doing this. Why don't you try this instead? Whereas the athlete doing it can't see that. So you have a third-party input. You're right, absolutely. To see what he needs to improve on, to improve. Constructive criticism, absolutely. A coach makes him accountable. Oh, Joe, you're on fire. Awesome. Do things even when they don't feel like it. Cheer them on, hold them accountable, and not bow to excuses. That is, accountability is huge, definitely huge. Showing them blind spots. You guys are all right. Those are all reasons why these guys have coaches. Have you ever got a mentor? If you did, just tell me real quick in the chat box if you did, and like what happened. So I'm seeing a lot of yeses. I love that. And I believe that too, because you guys are on this call. So you are out there seeking some help, trying to better yourself, trying to do better. And the reasons that we hit on, accountability, improvement, having like a third party guy watch and offer constructive criticism, that's all exactly why people get mentors. Okay. Even me, when I started out, I didn't just figure this all out on my own. I started doing lead generation for secured loans, and I would sell them to banks and lending companies in the United Kingdom. I'm in Canada. I know nothing about the rules in the United Kingdom. I still don't really know them. I had a mentor, and his name was Michael Anthony. Now, we had a falling out because I started my PPC Coach site, but that guy got me going online and got me successful. Without him, I wouldn't be anywhere. I wouldn't be sitting in this house today in my front office of my home. Like, I owe that guy a lot. And because I found him and I saw what he was doing, and I said, hey, you're where I want to be. Get me there. I'll do anything I have to do. I want to be where you are. And I got there, and I think I've actually surpassed him. But that's what I did. So to figure all this stuff out, all the moving parts, all the details, all the, the accountability, the constructive criticism, the here's a plan, now do it, dummy, the smack in the back of the head when you're doubting yourself. That's what I needed, and that's what I got. And I found it in my mentor, and it was him. And now I've had several other mentors along the way, but he was my first, and he was the best. Because he used to give us a kick in the pants if we weren't doing what we were supposed to do. Now, he benefited too, because he was running kind of a lead generation company. So we would generate the leads, he would sell them, and then he'd take a chunk of every one. So it was in his best interest to get us as profitable as possible, because then he would make money off everyone too. But you know what? Good for him. That's the way it goes. So masterminds do work very well. Yeah, Gear Bubble works for Don Wilson, who owns Gear Bubble. He runs masterminds like a couple times a year. And what he's doing is mentoring people. And have you heard of guys like Ben Malloy? He's a Facebook ad guy. Well, he started out going to Don Wilson's mastermind. Don Wilson was his mentor. Showed him how to do it, how to become this big Facebook ad guy. That's awesome. Ask any successful guy who their mentor was. They'll probably list off about 5-10 people. Okay, Russell Brunson runs ClickFunnels. I'm a big fan. That guy, if you watch a webinar of his, he rhymes off about 20 to 30 mentors that he's used over the years. So especially online, I think, because we speak the same language that you want to speak, where your family and friends, no idea. I have literally talked to my new wife, well, girlfriend, wife, whatever, we're common law, and she'll be like, so how's your day? And I'll start telling her about a campaign I was running. I can watch the eyes roll into the back of her head as she glazes over and almost passes out from boredom, because she doesn't know what the heck I'm talking about. There's no way. That's why I love my group, and I love my coaching forums, and I love doing one-on-one, because I get to speak my language to people who understand it. And they know where I'm coming from. They know what I'm going through, and I know what they're going through. That's what mentors do too. They speak your language. Anyway, let's move along. We're coming up to the end here. So the mentor provides direction, leadership, coaching, advice, training, inspiration, support, motivation. Is that on there twice? Nope, motivation and success. That's what you guys all mentioned that, which is awesome. That is what mentors do. Mentors, or what's this thing in the bottom of the right here? Oh, coach, yeah, that's right. Would a mentor help you? I don't, that's rhetorical. Of course they would. So over the past almost hour now, would you agree it's time well spent so far? I hope you say yes. If you say no, you probably left by now, but I haven't seen anybody leave, so that's awesome. Can't cover everything you need in the webinar, okay? Even if I had all day. You saw me try and get through some very technical stuff, and I really struggled quite a bit. So somebody mentioned, do you write down your systems? And so that ties right in. I got a special offer, okay, that can get you everything you need. It's no surprise, but if that sounds good, I'd like to show it to you. Okay, here it is, my super special offer. That. Okay, I've showed you my course, right? Remember the system we went through? Well, this is it. Okay, it's 30% off for the first 100 people only. I'm running this limited time. If you're seeing this on the replay, this might be gone already because we've had over 1,000 people buy this course already. So I'm very happy with that. It's been an awesome community. But here, if you go here, you'll see it. Use 30 off at checkout. Okay, so ppc-coach.com/gearbubble-course, and you can get there. Another person saying, I know a lot of you already have this course, and a lot of you might have got it for even cheaper. But I do have, I have something in the works too. It's just not ready yet. It's more of, I always do courses and I do like Facebook ads and like GearBubble, or Facebook ads and a platform, or Facebook ads and, you know, Shopify. And my next one is just Facebook ads. It's going to be, working title is social ads for everyone, because I'm going to cover social ads, Facebook ads. I just can't use the name in the title because it's a trademark. I'm actually working on it right now. It's just not ready yet. So this is the one that is ready, and this has the system in it. Okay. So what are people saying? Well, I'll show you. If you have questions first, type them in the chat box. I'm going to go back. How do I go back? Exit full screen. Because I want to go here. So let's view, present. Okay, so I can click this. So if you go here, this is my page. I hope that doesn't start up. Okay, anyway, so what are people saying? This is what people think. These guys were awesome. They did some videos. I got some more videos. I haven't updated this in a while. Go here, watch those, okay? It's just really good. So here's a dude, Rio, it works. Got first sale, just finished your course, gone through quite a few courses, spending some good amount, both time and money. Yours is by far the best. I clarified a lot of concepts I was confused about. Thank you. I love reading these. Got my first sales from the process, so the system is in there. They're using it, ready to scale. Perfect. Ian, short, packed with info. This has to be the best Facebook advertising system. Remember, we talk systems and training I've seen so far, which means I've wasted money on some of those other ones. I love what he put here. Time to put that behind me and forge ahead with the I Will Succeed system. A lot of you guys have already seen this, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on here, but there's a bunch. I even have more. I should probably update this page. Phil, he's a good guy. Some of you might know him. It's a brilliant course, a steal at 4 times the investments, very detailed yet easy to follow and apply at all levels of experience. So I'm not going to spend all day on here. You can go there, check it out if you want. Let's move along in here. Questions, type them in the chat box if you want. And meantime, while you guys are typing some questions, I'm going to say homework on the last one. Oh, this is interesting. So yesterday was the first day of school, and my one daughter comes into the car and she goes, my stupid teacher, I hate him. And I'm like, why? What's up? And she goes, she's looking at me right now. She just came in the door. He gave me like 4 or 5 pages of homework and I don't want to do it. And I was like, oh, well, that's good. Now you get to practice your math, so you're really good at it. Right, dear?
Yep.
Yeah, there she is.
Totally.
Anyway, so of course we're going to give you homework because that allows you to practice and that makes you better. So homework number 1, watch the replay of the webinar. Okay, there's some stuff we covered that you might want to review. Okay, I didn't get too technical on this one, mainly because all that technical stuff that I tried to jam-pack in the other ones, I think it turned a lot of people off, honestly. I got a lot of people saying, don't do that, Will. That's too much. You just blew my mind and I can't follow it. So instead of doing that with this one, I decided I'm going to do the high-level stuff, which is just as important as the technical side in my mind, okay? So watch the replay. Finish the physical product sales part. You've got the system. I showed you the system. You can do it. If you need help with it, grab the course, because the whole system is like 43 videos in the course where you do watch over my shoulder and you watch me do it step by step. Grab your copy. Use 30 off. It's going to be gone. Finally, coming up on 4 o'clock here. So we've been running 57 minutes, which is right on time. Here is the Terry Fox update. Okay, this is the reason I did it, not to sell you my course. I put the course in there as a special offer because you guys are cool and I want to give you something of value that you're going to benefit from quite a bit. But anyway, donate if you want to, okay? So here, terryfox.ca. I think you have to put www in there too. terryfox.ca/Ken's Crew. I set a goal of 10,000 and it came out of the gate like on fire, and it kind of slowed a little bit lately. So right now, I think as of my screenshot here, we're at $2,033.50. I think that is fantastic. I'm not disappointed in that one bit, because that's a lot of money going to cancer research. So they're trying to find a cure, and I think they will. Who knows? Maybe somebody has right now and they just haven't announced it. But the Terry Fox Foundation is a very, very good cause, and all the money goes right to them. You go to that page, click that link, sponsor us. You don't have to join the team, because that's my team. But unless you want to come do the run in London with me, that's fine. So sponsor us, $1, $2, $500, whatever you want to do. It's all good. This is why I did these webinars. This was primary reason number one, was to raise money for this, because my uncle, his name was Ken. He passed away from cancer, and he was a pretty awesome guy, and I want to make sure that his legacy lives on, and so that nobody ever has to go through what he did and what his wife did, and what we did too. I miss the guy dearly. So I want to put that up there. I want to hit that goal. If I don't hit the goal, I'm already happy, because I've raised a good chunk of change for that. I'm going to take my family down and do the run. So I'm going to leave that screen up there while I take some questions. Let's see here. Oh, I have the GB course. Is that the same? Yes, Doug, it's the same. If you already bought it, don't buy it. You might have got it even cheaper from another special from Don himself. He ran a special and it was a pretty good deal. But yeah, it is Gearbulb course. Another, just before we go here, unless there's any other questions, people bought the course back in June, and then Don Wilson, the owner of Gearbubble, like the course is about Facebook ads in Gearbubble, he promoted it again based on some people, like a thread in the Gearbubble group. People were saying, oh, where do you get this thing and all that, and I didn't want to post the link because I wanted to make sure that Don got paid for promoting it, right? Because that's what you do. And 5 people bought it twice, because they forgot that they bought it in June. So those 5 people came to me with their tail between their legs and said, oh man, I bought this already and I didn't even realize it. And I said to them, okay, I will give you a refund because you bought it twice, but you have to promise me that you're going to take action this time. Don't just buy courses for the sake of buying them. Buy them and put in the time, energy, and budget. Okay, give it the old college try before you put it on the shelf, so to speak. That really, when I saw that, I've never had people buy it, like 5 different people buy it twice. Okay, I've put out a lot of courses over the years, and this is the first time. And that just means, like, is there something going on? Is there something in the water nowadays where people are forgetting what they buy, or they're buying so much that they don't even do any action on them? I don't know. Anyway, that was weird, but oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I still donated. I will do it now. Thank you, Scott. You don't have to. Okay, it's totally optional. Part of me is like, I hate being hit up for donations, but I don't mind donating. You know what I mean? So it's awkward for me to even ask, but I am quite happy with where we're at with the amount raised. So I want to buy your Facebook course. Dude, okay, you can be the first one in line. I am still filming. I'm still doing videos on the Facebook course, but that's awesome, man. This course is going to be like my biggest and best yet. Like, the Gearbubble course is awesome, and so far right now it's my biggest and best, but this next one is going to be gigantic. It's covering everything in the kitchen sink and more, like just for Facebook, not for Facebook and any Shopify or Gearbubble or lead generation or local business. It's covering the broad spectrum. So I'm going to be able to take in everybody and anybody with that. So I'll definitely, right on, I'll put you on the list for sure. Yeah, oh, yeah, if you guys are in Florida, dude, like, thank you for coming on the webinar, but please get out of Florida, because I heard it's going to hit there hard. Yeah, for sure. Or board up those windows, whatever you got to do. This has been a great experience. I appreciate everybody who's come on here. And it's wonderful that you've shared your time with me. So if you do have any questions, go to the group, the free Facebook group, and post them in there, and I'll be sure to help you out as best I can. Yeah, a couple Florida guys in here. Oh, man. Dude, like, go board up your house. Do what you got to do. I heard there's a shortage already of food and water and everything going on now. Like you gotta go to like 10 different stores to get supplies. Yeah, crazy. Okay, well, Doug, take care, my friend. Ernie, be careful. You guys, let us know in the group that you guys are okay. All right? I'm going to sign off now. I do hope there's no flicker on this one. But yeah, no problem. I appreciate it, Danny. Thank you too. We will talk soon. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you in the group.